organism, the higher its living requirements usually are, and the more factors we need to consider.
Our project primarily focuses on researching the issue of homochirality in the origin of life molecules. Life on Earth has undergone billions of years of evolution, and ultimately, without exception, all life has chosen left-handed amino acids as the material foundation for protein construction. The question we want to explore is whether this choice is related to Earth's gravitational conditions. In the space station environment, the microgravity conditions are genuine microgravity. If we want to study these interactions at the molecular level, the best approach is still to have a real microgravity environment.
And now we are seeing live pictures of the 3 taikonauts going to be on board Shenzhou 21 mission. That's Zhang Lu, Wu Fei, and Hongzhang, who's led by motorcade. Zhang Lu is the commander, who is from the second batch of taikonauts.
Exactly.
And Wu Fei and Hongzhang coming from the 3rd batch of taikonauts. They will take over duties at the Tiangong space station from the crew of previous Shenzhou 20 missions, they already spent about 6-month time in space. And this is the 6th manned mission since Tiangong has reached the research and development stage. The team will undertake a range of tasks, including cargo handling, installing space debris protection devices, and science education, as well as scientific experiments and EVA activities.
Yes.
All right, we'll go back to Professor Yang. It looks like, 3 of them are in really good condition. They were singing on the car. And let's talk about the selection of the taikonauts. We are seeing more international collaboration when it comes to selecting the taikonauts. We're here from the authorities that there will be Pakistani astronauts in the near future, right?
Exactly. You know that according to the white paper of China's space activities, we want to be a leading country in space field, and one important benchmark becoming a leading country in space field is the international cooperation. So the Tiangong space station is not only the national space laboratory of China in outer space, but also it is a very brilliant business card of China in foreign relations. So it is a most ideal platform for we to conduct international cooperation. I can still remember that several years before, the China Manned Space Agency have a joint calling of joint experiments together with the UNOSA, or the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. They together call for joint the scientists and engineers from other countries produced these instruments, and it will be brought back to the experiments by our Chinese taikonauts. But today, you know that I can also emphasize that several months before, Mr. Lin Xiqiang, the deputy chief of the China Manned Space Agency, signed an agreement with the Pakistan side, and they will have joint training selection of the Pakistani taikonauts, and then they will be trained in the space city of China, maybe for 2 years, and then one of them will be selected from these 2 Pakistans to go to our Tiangong space station for short term.
And Professor, the Shenzhou 21 mission is again expected to break new grounds. The 3 in their spacewalks will be wearing new, amped-up spacesuits, so they will be tending to a large number of scientific and technological assignments, as we have mentioned, including the studies on lithium battery. And also, the Shenzhou 21 crew will carry out in-orbit scientific experiments involving mice during their stay on the space station. And I want to talk a little bit about mice, which everybody is interested in.
Very interesting.
4 mice, 2 males and 2 females, will be transported to China Space Station on board Shenzhou 21 spaceship and raised in orbit. So, were the mice already in the spaceship already?
already. I believe that the mice have been, actually speaking, will be mounted in the device, a device mounted in the orbital module. You know that we have 3 modules of our Shenzhou spaceship. From top to the down is the orbital module, the re-entry capsule, and the propulsion module. So usually most of the cargoes we brought together with the astronauts will be mounted in the orbital module. I believe that's the reason we choose mice, because it is
small.
Yes, exactly. It's very small, even with 4 mice, but the container will be very small and very convenient for us to handle. So this time we will test the technologies to transport these high-level mammals to outer space and safely get them back. So this is the right technology. I should say also to become a leading country in space field for manned space activities. This experiment is to catch up with those other countries, because you know that the other countries already have brought mice to the International Space Station before. So this time is our China's turn to do this experiment.
So why 2 males and 2 females?
Well, you know that the advantage of mice is that the iteration between different generations, the interval is very, very small. So you know that if you have a dog or a gorilla to the outer space, maybe you need 20 years to see the evidence of their different DNA in the next generation.
How they evolve.
Yeah. So for the mice, maybe you only need 2 years.
Exactly.
So that is the reason why we need both the male and the female mice.
Exactly. So what do you think will be the biggest challenge for this mission, 21 mission, compared with mission 20?
As we've already discussed, I think one challenge is to ensure that the mice are in good condition even after the intensive vibration and the G-forces during the launch. And also, we need to feed them in a very normal condition and ensure they are very healthy. And also, to be the right condition to conduct all kinds of research. And also, we need to see their reactions in outer space. So all these are very challenging for us because we don't have the experience before. And you know that although we've already have the worms and also the zebrafish before, but this time, you know, the mammal is the high-level animal similar to human being. So I believe this is a very challenging thing for us. And also, this is not a challenge, as I mentioned, not only for the Shenzhou 21 crew, but also for the Shenzhou 20 crew. When they bring these 4 mice back to the Earth, also they have to ensure they are in good status. And when they get back to the Earth, the returning procedure, also the retrieving or the recovery system must ensure that these mice are in good status.
So the 3 taikonauts are respectively a space pilot, a flight engineer, and a payload specialist. Why is the combination?
Well, you know that in the early stages, the major purpose of our space missions are to master the right technologies. There were so many uncertainties during these missions, so it is very risky. Why we choose only the pilots? Because they were almost all were selected from the Air Force pilots. So they are in good.
Yeah, they're waving to the crowd.
Yeah.
征途皆璀璨，
归途俱平坦。
航天薪火传，中国空间站，我们来了。
Space and the China Space Station, we are coming. We look forward to your return in triumph.
And they have reached the doorway of the launch pad. They will take the elevator to the 9th floor and prepare to enter the spacecraft.
Yeah. You may notice that the ground staff wearing face masks. Also, you need to avoid any bacteria or virus to influence their health condition.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the elevator will take the crew to the 9th floor. There, the crew will make some final preparations.
Yes. Although we've already discussed about the EVA spacesuit, but the IVA spacesuit is also very complex. So we must ensure that it can form an airtight sealing during the mission to give a secondary protection if have some malfunction of their capsule.
So the IVA suit, as you mentioned, are the 3 new ones or used by others before?
They are new ones. Each time for also the size of the
It's custom-made.
Is compatible with a certain person. They have the mark of their names.
I believe so.
On the suit, so they will be only used once. But it's much simpler than the EVA spacesuits, and the EVA suits were varying by different persons.
So the 9-story platform is more than 4 meters above the ground, and the speed of the elevator is relatively slow to help the taikonauts stay calm.
Yes. So at this platform, they will also conduct multiple examinations and checkings to ensure their own status and their IVA spacesuit are in good condition.
So, are the ESCO going to remove the boots of the taikonauts?
Exactly. So you know that the boot is to protect their spacesuit when they walk on the ground. But when they go enter the capsule, they no longer need the boot.
When they already
so
enter the cabin, they don't.
The ground staff will help them. You know that we even have colder weathers during the Shenzhou 1 launch. I believe that it's before the end.
I remember it's really cold.
It's just before the end of the 1999. I can still remember that it's a very cold condition.
So that comes to the question: how do we choose the window each time?
The most critical requirement, or the most important constraints, is the orbital plane. You know that our Tiangong space station orbiting the Earth in a certain orbital plane. So we don't have other choices. We can only launch our Shenzhou spacecraft as the chasing vehicle when the launch pad is rotating together with the Earth when passing through the orbital plane of our Tiangong space station. So the accuracy of the launch time is much better than 1 second. That is called zero window launch. So that brings a very high requirement to our launch vehicle and to the GNC or guidance, navigation, and control system. But today we've already mastered this technology and it's already very practical.
Are we seeing the
this is the orbital module. What we see, you can see all kinds of cargoes mounted on the side walls of this. This is the re-entry capsule. You can see the basins or the seats for our astronauts.
So they will be entering the cabin one by one.
Exactly. So I believe that Mr. Hongzhang will enter the hatch first. Zhang
Hongzhang will be entering first.
Exactly. Because you know that always the commander needs to sit in the middle.
Exactly.
So he will be the last one to enter the re-entry capsule.
And also in a short while, the escort will be taking off the boots of the taikonauts because they can't wear them entering the cabin, right? Some adjustments will also be made to make it easier for the taikonauts to enter.
Yeah. So at this moment, they still have ground staff inside the orbital module to help our taikonauts to go more smoothly from the orbital module, go down to the re-entry capsule and to their seat.
And now the escort is taking off their boots. So the boots will be left on the ground in Jiuquan?
Yes, of course. Maybe brought back to the astronaut center in Beijing. But you know that these boots is very good objects for a museum.
Exactly. 3 taikonauts look very calm and confident. And the,
固定性检查太原，明白渭南，明白青岛，明白酒泉，明白千山，明白双城，明白武汉，明白。
What we heard is the voice of the commander ask each of the ground tracking station to confirm they've already get the right message. So this is a coordination of all kinds of systems all over our country. especially that during the downrange of the trajectory of our launch vehicle, there are multiple ground stations which can receiving the signals emitted from the launch vehicle, which contains the critical parameters of the launch vehicle and the Shenzhou spaceship as well. So every time we can see very clear video images, video streams from our launch vehicle, and also the video from our Shenzhou spaceship, especially the video inside our re-entry capsule, to see the status of our taikonauts.
So what are they putting in the cabin? What they're transferring there?
Maybe the
There's
mouse?
something.
各号注意，固定信息检查正常结束，开源。明白。渭南。明白。青岛。
Well, on the top right of the screen is a camera mounted in the orbital module. You can see all kinds of cargoes, and maybe the 4 mice are one of it.
Probably the 4 mice.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it will be mounted in this orbital module, the container.
The container.
Yeah.
各号注意，计算机理论弹道检查，5分钟准备，08号。
It looks like a pretty cozy and
明白。
a cozy place to stay.
明白。青岛。
And you know that the role of the orbital module have already been changed in today's phase. You know that during the early missions, it is the living room of our astronauts. But you know that today we conduct a fast rendezvous and routing. The astronauts only stayed in this Shenzhou spaceship for several hours, so it became a cargo bay for our Tiangong missions. So the role of the orbital module changed.
What kind of special food will they bring to space this time? As we have seen dumplings and kung pao chicken.
What you mentioned can be brought by the Tianzhou spaceship to our Tiangong space station. But in the Shenzhou space, of course, it will bring some food. Usually, the most favorite one is fresh fruit.
Fresh fruit,
Exactly,
definitely.
because that's the most valuable one for those who stay in outer space for several months.
Exactly. And they're waiting to enter the cabin, one by one.
Yes, as we mentioned, Mr. Zhang Hongzhang probably will be the first one to enter the cabin, and he will sit in the seat to the.
5分钟准备情况。
5 minutes countdown.
5分钟准备完毕。
Yes,
太原。
but that's still a
5分钟
simulation.
准备完毕。
simulation.
渭南。
Yeah.
5分钟准备完毕。
It mentioned the T-minus 5 minutes and counting. Of course, this moment is not 5 minutes, T-minus 5 minutes. So this is a simulation. It's necessary for the whole system to be ensure that everyone is okay, everyone is ready.
Exactly. The technical staff looks pretty confident.
Yeah. But
And
the
ready.
drill is necessary before the launch. And we use the computers today to simulate everything.
50秒。
We can see T-minus 50 seconds. So that's the simulation.
40秒。
The simulation. That's the simulation there.
Exactly. And this simulation can test very comprehensively of multiple systems. So to ensure that especially the electronics is okay for the launch. It's go for launch.
You know, visibility is definitely great.
Yeah.
You can see clearly the magnificent view of the 9th floor tower.
You know, as I mentioned, I went to Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in 2019. It is the first time for me to see the Milky Way with my naked eye.
So
you can see how clear it is.
Exactly.
44秒，动拐5毫秒。T0 210 23分44秒，动拐5毫秒。
And the 3 taikonauts are still waiting to enter the cabin one by one.
According to the introduction of the ground staff of our Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, they are continuously to optimize their works and their tasks. You know that from the vehicle assembly building with a track to our launch complex, there are also multiple critical systems. So every time we need to conduct a very comprehensive examination to ensure these systems are in good status. But today, with constraints to ensure the reliability, we can also shorten this examination and make it more faster. This is very meaningful, especially if someday we're conducting a rescue mission for our astronaut in outer space. So this kind of optimization is very necessary.
So the contingency plan
exactly.
is also there.
So at this right moment, just 1.5 kilometers away from the launch pad, the Long March 2F Y-22 launch vehicle and the Shenzhou 22 spaceship is standing in the VAB.
We're seeing the wind speed is around 2.2 meters per second.
Not very fast.
Not very fast. Visibility is definitely great.
Although the temperature is a little bit low, I can see your colleagues very sick cold.
Exactly, but she said it's okay. It's not that cold.
It's still okay in this season. I can still remember that during the Shenzhou 6 mission, that in 2005, it's snowing during the launch.
There's no wind.
Yeah.
Compared with the temperature, the wind speed is also important.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the wind speed in very high latitude will influence the control procedure. It's very critical. It may even cause damage of the launch vehicle itself.
Thank you so much, Professor Yang, always for sharing with us your insights. We'll definitely be getting back to you in our later special program. So the 3 taikonauts are making their final preparations for the liftoff. A send-off ceremony was held earlier for the crew. China is set to launch the Shenzhou 21 manned spacecraft at 15:44 GMT from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, and this marks the 37th flight for China's manned space program and the 6th crewed mission since the space station reached the research and development stage. So stay tuned to CGTN special coverage on the launch of the mission at 15:30 GMT. I'm Hongnan Beijing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
北京景山报告。
我是北京，景山请讲。
景山天路长江6号3小时准备完毕，景山报告完毕。
北京明白。我是北京，华山请讲。北京明白。我是北京，江阴请讲。北京明白。
各号停。收集计算机理论弹道检查情况。08号。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
太原。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
渭南。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
青岛。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
酒泉。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
千山。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
双城。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
5号。
计算机理论弹道检查正常。
各号注意，收集3小时准备情况。0号。
3小时准备完毕。
太原。
3小时准备完毕。
渭南。
3小时准备完毕。
青岛。
3小时准备完毕。
酒泉。
3小时准备完毕。
天山。
3小时准备完毕。
双城。
3小时准备完毕。
5号。
3小时准备完毕。
天仓。
3小时准备完毕。
北京东风报告。
我是北京，东风请讲。
东风3小时准备完毕，报告完毕。
北京明白。 各号注意，我是北京，2小时准备。东风，
东风明白。
华山，江阴，景山，
景山明白。
各号注意，2小时准备。0号，
明白。
太原，
明白。
渭南，
明白。
青岛，
明白。
酒泉，
明白。
天山，
明白。
双城，明白。
5号，
明白。
天仓，
明白。
各号注意，我是东风，第1次综合检查，5分钟准备。景山，
景山明白。
华山，
华山明白。
08号，
明白。
太原，
明白。
渭南，
明白。
青岛，
明白。
酒泉，
明白。
天山，
明白。
双城，
明白。
5号，
明白。
东风，我是华山。
我是东风，华山请讲。
华山第1次综合检查，5分钟准备完毕。
东风明白。
东风，我是景山。
我是东风，景山请讲。
景山、江阴、天路及长江6号第1次综合检查，5分钟准备完毕。
东风明白。各号注意，收集5分钟准备情况。08号
，5分钟准备完毕。
太原
，5分钟准备完毕。
渭南
，5分钟准备完毕。
青岛
，5分钟准备完毕。
酒泉
，5分钟准备完毕。
天山
，5分钟准备完毕。
双城
5分钟准备完毕。
5号
5分钟准备完毕。
号注意，我是东风，第一次综合检查，1分钟准备。50秒。40秒。30秒。20秒。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，起飞。T0 210 5动分43秒63拐毫秒。T0 210 5动分43秒63拐毫秒。
华山初稳根数及分类参数发出，景山。景山收到。东风。
东风收到。
各号注意，我是景山。景山初轨根数及分离点参数已发出。东风。
东风收到。
华山。
各号注意，我是东风。各号请收集第一次综合检查情况。景山。
景山明白。
华山。
华山明白。
08号。
第一次综合检查正常。
太原。
第一次综合检查正常。
渭南。
第一次综合检查正常。
青岛。
第一次综合检查正常。
酒泉。
第一次综合检查正常。
千山。
第一次综合检查正常。
双城。
第一次综合检查正常。
5号。
第一次综合检查正常。
东风，我是景山。
我是东风，景山请讲。
景山、江阴、天路及长江6号第一次综合检查正常。
东风明白。
东风，我是华山。
我是东风，华山请讲。
华山第一次综合检查正常。
东风明白。
北京东风报告。
我是北京东风，请讲。
各号注意，我是东风，收集航天员进舱后话音检查准备情况。北京。
状态准备完毕。
酒泉。
状态准备完毕。
0号，我是东风，话音检查准备完毕。
0号明白。
东风，我是景山。
我是东风，景山请讲。
景山，预置指令已发出。
东风明白。
东风，我是0号，航天员进舱后换衣检查正常。
东风明白。北京东风报告。
我是北京东风，请讲。
告注意，我是东风，换衣检查正常。北京。
北京明白。
酒泉。
明白。 北京景山报告。
我是北京景山，请讲。
景山报告测量船当前海况及2小时准备情况。长江6号海况4级，浪高2.5米，风力5级，能见度6公里。景山天路长江6号2小时准备完毕。景山报告完毕。
北京明白。我是北京华山，请讲。北京明白。我是北京江阴，请讲。北京明白。
各号注意，收集2小时准备情况。0号。
2小时准备完毕。
太原。
2小时准备完毕。
渭南。
2小时准备完毕。
青岛。
2小时准备完毕。
酒泉。
2小时准备完毕。
青山。
2小时准备完毕。
双城。
2小时准备完毕。
5号。
2小时准备完毕。
天仓。
2小时准备完毕。
北京东风报告。
我是北京东风，请讲。
东风2小时准备完毕，报告完毕。
北京明白。 各号注意，我是北京，1小时准备。东风，
东风明白。
华山，江阴，景山，
景山明白。
各号注意，1小时准备，0号。
明白。
太原，
明白。
渭南，
明白。
青岛，
明白。
酒泉，
明白。
千山，
明白。
双城，
明白。
5号，
明白。
天仓，
明白。
各号注意，我是东风，第2次综合检查，5分钟准备，景山，
景山明白。
华山，
华山明白。
08号，
明白。
太原，
明白。
渭南，
明白。
青岛，
明白。
酒泉，
明白。
千山，
明白。
双城，
明白。
5号，
明白。
东风，我是景山。
我是东风，景山请讲。
景山、江阴、天路及长江6号第2次综合检查，5分钟准备完毕。
东风明白。
东风，我是华山。
我是东风，华山请讲。
华山第2次综合检查5分钟准备完毕。
东风明白。各号注意，收集5分钟准备情况。08号。
5分钟准备完毕。
太原。
5分钟准备完毕。
渭南。
5分钟准备完毕。
青岛。
5分钟准备完毕。
酒泉。
5分钟准备完毕。
千山。
5分钟准备完毕。
双城。
5分钟准备完毕。
5号。
5分钟准备完毕。
各号注意，我是东风，第二次综合检查，1分钟准备。50秒。40秒。30秒。20秒。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，起飞。T0 2两时5动分44秒345毫秒。T0 2两时5动分44秒345毫秒。各号注意，我是东风，各号停，收集第二次综合检查情况。景山。
景山明白。
华山。
华山第二次综合检查正常。
08号。
第二次综合检查正常。
太原。 第二次综合检查正常。渭南。
第二次综合检查正常。
青岛。
第二次综合检查正常。
酒泉。
第二次综合检查正常。
千山。
第二次综合检查正常。
双城。
第二次综合检查正常。
5号。
第二次综合检查正常。
东风，我是景山。
我是东风，景山请讲。
景山、江阴、天路及长江6号第二次综合检查正常。
东风明白。
北京景山报告。
我是北京景山，请讲。
景山报告测量船当前海况及1小时准备情况。长江6号海况4级，浪高2.5米，风力5级，能见度15公里。景山天路长江6号1小时准备完毕。景山报告完毕。
北京明白。我是北京华山，请讲。北京明白。我是北京江阴，请讲。北京明白。我是北京长城，请讲。北京明白。我是北京天宫，请讲。北京明白。我是北京天舟，请讲。北京明白。我是北京曙光，请讲。北京明白。我是北京银河，请讲。北京明白。
各号注意，收集1小时准备情况。0号。
1小时准备完毕。
太原。
1小时准备完毕。
渭南。
1小时准备完毕。
青岛。
1小时准备完毕。
酒泉。
1小时准备完毕。
青山。
1小时准备完毕。
双城。
1小时准备完毕。
5号。
1小时准备完毕。
天仓。
1小时准备完毕。
北京东风报告。
我是北京东风，请讲。
东风1小时准备完毕，报告完毕。
北京明白。东风，我是北京。
东风到。
全区各号1小时准备完毕，30分钟准备及后续口令由你下达。
东风明白。 0号，我是东风。
0号到。
全区各号1小时准备完毕，30分钟准备及后续口令由你下达。
明白。07号讲。明白。神舟，我是0号，现在起，神舟21号由0号指挥。 各号注意，我是0号，30分钟准备。长征，神舟21号。先锋07号、08号、09号。
各号注意，我是东风，30分钟准备。景山，
景山明白。
华山，
华山明白。
太原，
明白。
渭南，
明白。
青岛，
明白。
酒泉，
明白。
千山，
明白。
双城，
明白。
5号，
明白。
天仓，
明白。
first-time flyers, Wu Fei and Zhang Hongzhang. At 32 years old, Wu Fei is now the youngest Chinese taikonauts ever to go to space.
指挥长同志，我们奉命执行神舟21号载人飞行任务，准备完毕，请您指示航天员张路、
航天员武飞、
航天员张鸿章出发。是。
During their 6-month mission on board the Tiangong space station, the Shenzhou 21 crew will take over operations from the outgoing Shenzhou 20 team. This launch marked the 37th flight for China's manned space program and the 6th crewed mission since the space station reached the research and development stage. The crew's responsibility will include cargo management, installing space debris protection, and conducting scientific experiments and extravehicular activities. All right, for the very latest, we go live to reporters on the ground, Sun Ye at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center and Zheng Yibing at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. They're standing by for live reports. Thank you so much for joining us. So I would like to begin with you, Sun Ye at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. It is getting close to liftoff. What is happening now?
Hey there, Hona. Hello again from 1.5 kilometers away from the launch tower. You can see it right now. The rocket is fully revealed. That means you know the launch hour is very, very close. Now, the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center has been reporting throughout the last few hours and minutes that everything is happening according to plan and everything is going on smoothly. Right now, where I'm standing, I'm actually surrounded by cameras, and we can hear the spectators starting to cheer as the launch moment gets near. Now, this is the kind of thing that we have seen a few times now. As China's space station has its crewed missions twice every year. I know you often asked, how different is it every time? And let me tell you, a lot of the difference in these crewed missions cannot be seen by our naked eyes. For example, the Satellite Launch Center is designing and using a new launch site system that's making the digital tracking faster, monitoring more precisely, and generally smoothing and making the whole process smarter. And then for the rocket, the Long March 2F rocket, the launch process has now been shortened from 45 days to 30 days. That's shortening so much. And as I think you have heard right now, that the spaceship, this time the ride for the Shenzhou 21 crew would be so much faster than before. The process for it to connect with the China space station would be the shortest ever. So these are the improvements that they are making all the time, making the whole system, making the whole mission, actually the industry, better, stronger, faster each time. And I am sure the Shenzhou 21 mission will is aiming for getting better, stronger, faster. Hona.
Thank you so much, Sun Ye, for your updates from Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. Would definitely keep you updated. And now we go to Yibing at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. Yibing, good to see you. Tell us what is the latest from the control center.
Good to see you, Hona. I would say Beijing copy here from the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. When you're watching and hear the live signal of the launch sequence for the Shenzhou 21 launch mission, you actually hear various commands from all working systems from all across China for the launch mission. But one command stands out and represents the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. That's a Beijing copy. So right before and after the launch ignition of the Long March 2F carrier rocket for the space Shenzhou 21 mission, you would constantly hear Beijing copy again and again. They're checking the status of the whole system and also the Shenzhou 21 spacecraft and the crew members. Right behind me on the big screen, you can see actually the 3 crew members. They're making the final preparation for this launch mission. The commander, Zhang Lu, is reading the flight menu for the details and checking again before the ignition. In less than 15 minutes, the Shenzhou 21 mission will begin and the ignition will be happen. And also, right here at the Beijing Airspace Control Center, we see a lot of people have been working for a long time. They will be working all night, because this is the first time ever in the history of China manned space missions. For example, in a previous mission from Shenzhou 12 to Shenzhou 20, all Shenzhou spacecraft will have the mode of the rendezvous and docking for 6.5 hours. But this time, the time has been shortened to 3.5 hours. That is a big change. So this time, the mission would be totally different. We'll wait and see the change, the ignition of the Shenzhou 21 mission and the spacecraft. So we give the best wishes to the 3 crew members. Back to you, Hona.
We hear that eBeing Beijing is ready. Thank you so much for your reporting from Beijing Aerospace Control Center. We appreciate it. Well, the Shenzhou 21 crew have undergone rigorous preparation for their upcoming mission. Well, by this time, they'll be equipped with new training gear to help them excel in orbit. Sun Ye has more.
Chinese taikonauts are known for training hard, and when the Shenzhou 21 crew start their space station mission, their hardcore training will reach a whole new level.
那么天舟9我们就上行了一个
On Tianzhou 9, we sent up a device called the Core Muscle Training Equipment. It can be used for planks, weightlifting resistance training, sit-ups, and crunches, all of which are specialized exercises for core muscle training. After the device was successfully deployed and tested, it will continue to be used going forward, which will enhance our ability to counteract the physiological effects of weightlessness during long-term flights.
The Shenzhou 21 crew will also be wearing new spacesuits for their spacewalks, for which they also have updated assistance.
To ensure the taikonauts are prepared for extravehicular activities in orbit and to improve their work efficiency, we sent up a mixed reality training device. It can be used to train for some very complex operational tasks while in orbit. With this device, once they put on the headset, they can vividly see the operational scenarios, workflows, precautions, and so on. This way, the training effectiveness and learning efficiency have improved significantly.
The Shenzhou 21 crew will also have a new AI companion. The model named Wukong, after the clever and versatile Monkey King, can engage with the taikonauts on all things related to the space station and life in orbit. Sun Ye, CGTN, Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center.
And now we are joined in the studio by Professor Yang Yuguang, the chair of the Space Transportation Committee of the International Astronautical Federation. Thank you so much for joining us again, Professor Yang. So at the launch was near, the final preparations are going on. Tell us, what will be the final preparations for the liftoff?
Well, that's very important. You can see on this screen, we can see the launch pad and together with our Long March 2F Y-21 launch vehicle. And you may notice that on this moment, there's still some arms in brown color connected to our launch vehicle. So this rotational arm still has the cable connections and also some pipes connected to our launch vehicle. Only at the last moment it can be untouched and rotated to free the vehicle itself. So at this moment we still have the ground support and also have the electricity and also signals to support our test and examining procedure. So this is still very critical for our the whole system to ensure that every system is okay. And moreover, you may hear the voice of the commander of the launch site and to confirm the status of every ground tracking station is okay. So this is a video camera mounted in the re-entry capsule. You can see that Commander Mr. Zhang Lu is sitting in the middle. And the one closer to us is Mr. Hongzhang, and the one far from us is Mr. Wu Fei. So all of them have their own roles. So it's very important for them. You notice that they will read their manuals usually very carefully and to ensure that every system goes okay.
So we can see from the pictures inside the capsule that the 3 taikonauts were safely inside the capsule. They're making their final preparations for the launch. And also the tower crews are evacuating the taking off area. So Tell us, what is the safe evacuation distance?
Usually, this is a very important step for the launch system. You know that the flames and the high temperature emitted from the tail of the launch vehicle will be dangerous for the ground staff. So we need to have a very strict procedure to check if everyone from the team of the ground staff has already left the launch pad correctly. So this is very important. Usually, it happens in the T-minus 15 minutes and counting at this moment. So at this moment, because it's less than 5 minutes from the launch, so all the ground staff has already left the launch pad very safely. So at this moment, only the 3 taikonauts are in the capsule of the launch vehicle.
And now we can see we're less than 3 minutes away from the launch, and this time Tianhe is performing a zero-window launch for the Shenzhou 21 spaceship. So what exactly is zero-window launch, and why is this method being used this time?
The zero launch window means that the accuracy of the lift-off moment is better than 1 second. So this is to ensure that the launch vehicle brings the Shenzhou spaceship into the right orbital plane. To catch up with our Tiangong space station, they must be in the same orbital plane. So usually every day we only have 1 chance to launch our Shenzhou spacecraft. So this is a very necessary condition, very necessary requirement to our launch vehicle, and only it is accurate enough we have the sufficient propellant for the Shenzhou spaceship to catch up with our Tiangong space station.
And we can see the Long March carrier rocket now standing there, ready to be lifted off.
Yes, I believe that at this moment we maybe already stopped providing the ventilation air from the ground system. You know that we in the payload fairing, you know that it forms a closed volume for the Shenzhou spaceship. Usually it's in a very comfortable temperature, although it's already very cold in Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. But still, we have ventilation air from the pipes of the arms I mentioned previously. But at this moment, maybe it's already stopped. So because only 2 minutes left, only 1 minute left, and it will. I believe that the arm will detach very soon.
So we're waiting for the Long March carrier rocket being lifted off.
And you may also notice that there are many packages between the astronauts. These are the necessary equipments and goods for the case that if there is an emergency landing, so this will help the astronaut to survive in wild field. So
1 minute
it's T-minus 1 minute and counting.
1分钟准备。
So I believe that the electricity had been switched from the ground, from the launch pad, to the batteries inside the launch vehicle.
Even the zero-window launch will be precisely limited to within 1 second.
Exactly.
40 秒。
40 seconds countdown.
Oh, the Shenzhou 20 crew is watching the live coverage.
They're waiting there.
I believe this is a live coverage of CMG.
I believe so as well.
30秒。
30 seconds countdown.
20秒。
20 seconds.
10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火。起飞，T0，230，14分46秒，441毫秒，T0，230，14分46秒，441毫秒。
The report of the ground staff is reporting the accurate liftoff time because you know that 0 means ignition and the liftoff is several seconds later. So the ground staff need to report this to every system. And
within 1 second.
Yeah. So now the tower is clear, and the first action of the launch vehicle is pitch over, which means that to change its direction to vertically from vertical direction to eastward.
We are hearing the orders saying that everything is functioning well.
Yeah. And the next critical step will be jettisoning of the emergency escape tower. usually it happens at about 2 minutes after liftoff.
We can hear the order saying that everything is normal.
Yes. You can see the beautiful flames of the 8 engines, 4 mounted in the core stage and 4 other engines mounted on each of the 4 boosters.
And now we can see the Long March carrier rocket has been successfully lifted off with the Shenzhou 21 spacecraft.
Exactly. At liftoff, each of the engine can provide a thrust about 75 tons. So the 8 engines provide a thrust more than 600 tons. That's a very big thrust. And with the attitude goes on, the thrust will be bigger.
Wow, the Shenzhou 20 crew is watching closely.
Yeah. So at this
waiting for their
moment, they will
peers.
experience very intensive vibration and also G-forces. Usually the peak of the G-forces can reach to 3.6 times than your own mass. So they must be trained. Okay.
So we can see the escape tower
has escaped. Has just
escaped.
Great. So the next step will be
from the craft.
Separation of the 4 boosters. It will happen soon. We can see the infrared image video on this screen. This is a video camera mounted on the launch vehicle, looking backwards.
And now we're waiting for the boosters.
Oh, great. You can see the boosters separated.
Separated
The 4
cleanly.
point. They form a cross. And the first stage also separated.
First stage is separated.
Yep. Now you can see the brightest spot is the second stage. On the second stage, we have 1 main engine and 4 vernier engines. The 4 vernier engine can change its direction to control the attitude of the launch vehicle. This is a video camera mounted at the rear part of the second stage.
The 3 taikonauts seems to be really calm and confident.
Yeah. Mr. Wu Fei is still reading the manual. So they are very calm.
Mr. Wu Fei sits on Zhang Lu's right.
On the right side. Oh, the payload fairing is separated.
The firing has also separated.
So the second stage will work much longer than the first stage. And our next critical step will be MECO, or the main engine cutoff. But the 4 vernier engines will work longer because you know that the vernier engine, the thrust is very small, but it can change its direction, so it can adjust the trajectory very precisely to ensure that the final orbit of the Shenzhou spacecraft is very accurate.
You mean the rocket is still carrying out a gravity turn, adjusting its direction?
Yeah.
Now.
And you may notice that all the 3 crew members are reading their manuals. On this manual, it not only has the instruction of the normal procedure, but also has the instruction of every abnormal procedure. So they must face this.
What can you read under such a vibration and high pressure?
They can still read it.
They can still read it.
Yeah. You can see they change their pages to the next phase. So in every phase, there are multiple instructions. We can see the very beautiful shock wave in arc form, very beautiful sight.
And then flying towards their peers who
because
are waiting for them.
We launched the rocket at night. It is very interesting. In Beijing, you can see a very bright spot moving very fast. That is the launch vehicle itself.
A lot of space enthusiasts would like to catch that.
Exactly.
Every time.
So the Shenzhou 20 crew, I believe they, after this launch, they will prepare the breakfast for our Shenzhou 21 crew.
I believe so.
And before this launch, the Shenzhou 20 crew were also trained many times for manual docking. Because in emergency case, they can also have a remote control mode to control the Shenzhou spaceship to dock with the space station normally.
Oh, it's a cooperation between
exactly.
2 teams of crew members.
So this technology, we mastered this technology during the Shenzhou 13 mission. The Shenzhou 13 crew have conducted the first this kind of technological verification. So you can still see that the rocket engines work very normal. We can hear the voice that the flight itself is normal and the tracking station is also in a normal status. You may notice that the main engine and the two of the vernier engines is moving slightly. It's adjusting its direction, and with this measure to change the attitude of the flying object itself.
You mean the trajectory?
Yeah, exactly. They are experiencing the G forces now. With the exhausting of the propellant, the G forces will be bigger and bigger. So at the main engine cut off, it will reach the peak. But they were well trained on the ground. You know, in a normal flying procedure, it only reaches to about 3.6 times of your own mass. But in emergency equipment, it reaches to 8 times than your own mass.
What is maximum undertaking of a human body?
Yeah, exactly. So in an emergency escape, it will reach up to more than 8.
So the taikonauts must undergo all kinds of training before they.
Yes. Okay. The main engine cut off.
2级主机关机。
They were already in orbit, but still need the vernier engines to adjust the trajectory very precisely. So this is a moment what it
And we're waiting for the key moment of the separations.
Yes. So after the shut-off of the 4 vernier engines of the second stage, we were conducting, as you mentioned, the separation between the Shenzhou spaceship and our second stage.
And now they're reading all the instructions again.
东风 USB 雷达跟踪正常，遥测信号正常，东风飞行正常。明白。
Shenzhou, their colleagues, the Shenzhou 20 crew, is watching the live coverage.
They seem to be more relaxed, definitely, and they're waiting for their peers to arrive.
With the help of our Tianhe data relay satellite, we can have the video uploaded to our Tiangong space station. So every time they can watch the live coverage of the launch. And during the Shenzhou, during the Shenzhou 60 mission, Mr. Jing Haipeng, the commander, can even respond to the anchors of CMG.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
You mean during the launch time?
Yes, because that they can watch the live coverage and the anchor say hello to our commander, and he can respond to the camera.
Wow.
长江6号发现目标。
We can hear the space tracking ship. 长江6号 means our Yuanwang 6. Space tracking ship in the Pacific Ocean. So it's now located in the Pacific Ocean to track the data.
团建分离。
Separated.
We're waiting for the key moments.
Now the Long March 2F launch vehicle has accomplished its task.
Yes.
So the next critical step will be deployment of our solar panels of the Shenzhou spacecraft. It is mounted on the propulsion module with 2 solar wings.
神舟21号报告，仪表显示全件分离。
So this is a key moment.
北京明白。
So we heard the voice of Mr. Zhang Lu, our commander. He reported with the
天路发
instruments.
现目标。天路
It
发现目
confirms the
标。
separation.
这个时候，
The spacecraft has separated from the carrier
长
rocket.
江6号双补完成。
That means the Shenzhou 21 has entered its predetermined orbit.
It's already entered its initial orbit, and it will conduct several orbit maneuvers to chasing up our Tiangong space station and finally conduct the docking after 3.5 hours.
So you talk about 3.5 hours. So this duration is much shorter than previous missions, right?
So we will be much more comfortable for our Shenzhou 21 crew. Almost half of the previous
Last time
missions.
is about 6 hours, 6 hours and a half.
6.5 hours. And this moment, they can already, our 2 new members can enjoy the 0G.
Oh, now
Very
the 0G.
amazing. Yeah. So they are waiting for the deployment of the 2 solar wings.
明白。30秒。明白。20秒。明白。
They're having a countdown.
Yeah, countdown for the deployment of the solar wings.
10秒。明白。5、4、3、2、1。
华山初尔根数及分链参数发出，景山，景山收到，东风，
东风收到。
We've already heard the voice that the solar wings are deployed.
神舟2号展开信号60点已发出，仪表显示帆板展开完毕。
北京明白。
But at this moment, the Shenzhou spacecraft is still in the shadow area, so it only maybe after several minutes it can reach the sunshine area. It can reach receive the solar energy to produce electricity.
Oh, now we're in the shadow now.
Yeah, you can see that on the far side, still the window is in dark.
遥测信号正常。
天路长江6号跟踪正常，遥测信号正常。
Shenzhou 20 crew are watching closely to their peers from Shenzhou 21.
Yeah. When enters the sunshine area, they can enjoy the view of the beautiful Earth.
长程报告，帆板驱动正常。
The ground staff report that the mechanism, usually we call the SADA, of the solar wings to make it rotatable, is normal.
神舟21号，我是北京。
神舟21号到。
通报座舱大气环境及身体情况。
景山长江6号出轨根数已发出。
神舟21号报告。
景山收到。
飞船座舱大气环境正常，航天员感觉很好，完毕。
北京明白。长城，我是北京，通报座舱环境。
长城报告，座舱环境正常。
北京明白。
They are reporting the parameters of the atmosphere inside the capsule.
神舟21号，
For the life
我是北京。
system, the most critical
地面确认，座舱环境正常，可以打开面窗。
Oxygen and also all these critical parameters.
明白。
Most important ones.
打开面窗。 明白，明白。
Now they can open their face mask because the
their
environment
face
is okay.
mask.
Yeah.
They can open their face.
So they are more relaxed now. So at this moment, the ground staff will check the accuracy of the orbital parameters to confirm that it is okay.
各号注意，飞船轨道注入数据，飞行流程启动。长城，
天路跟踪正常，遥测信号正常。
And waiting to hear more precise details about the parameters.
Yes. Still, at this moment, we can see the video camera mounted inside our capsule, which means that the our Tianhe data satellite already established the good connection with the Shenzhou spaceship, so we can have a continuous video stream from our Shenzhou spaceship.
Exactly.
But still, it's in dark in the window. Look, so still maybe we need to wait some minutes. They can reach the sunshine area.
And the 3-member team is led by veteran Commander Zhang Lu and
flight engineer Wu Fei.
And the 2 new faces are quite special.
Yes.
We have the youngest one.
And you may notice that Mr. Hongzhang, during the press conference yesterday, he's wearing the glasses. But during the launch, he must take off his glasses because, as I mentioned, there are vibration, very intensive vibration during the launch. So although he can wear his glasses in orbit, but during the launch and during the landing, he must take the glasses off.
But when we're choosing taikonauts, his eyesight is what kind of conditions do we need?
That's important for pilots, but not necessary for our
taikonauts.
For other experts, for our payload specialists. Because you know that the previous one, during the Shenzhou 16 mission, Mr. Gui Haichao is our first payload specialist. He's wearing glasses. He has nearsight eyes. But you know that he's not have the role of a pilot, so he can wear glasses. So this is a 3D animation. Although it is an animation, but it is driven by the real data, which means that the
飞船满足执行3.5小时自主快速交会对接条件。
北京明白。
Great. The ground staff report that the accuracy of the orbital parameters can meet the requirement to conduct a 3.5-hour rendezvous and docking. So this is very great, which means that the accuracy of our launch vehicle is accurate enough for the following procedures.
3.5 hours is much shorter than previous missions, almost half of the previous time.
But this is a very high requirement to the launch vehicle. So only when it is accurate enough can we conduct this very fast rendezvous and docking.
我是北京，根据北京实时轨道与遥测数据监视判断，神舟21号载人飞船已进入近地点高度200公里，远地点高度363公里，倾角41.5度，周期约1小时30分钟的预定轨道，飞船座舱环境正常，航天员状态良好，飞船满足执行3.5小时自主快速交会对接条件，后续工作按正常飞控计划实施。北京出轨根数及分裂点参数已向各方向发出。东风，
东风收到。
华山，
华山收到。
江阴，
江阴收到。
天路，
天路收到。
长江6号，
长江6号收到。
长城，
长城收到。
天宫，
天宫收到。
天舟，
天舟收到。
曙光，
曙光收到。
银河，
银河收到。
The ground staff announced the parameters for every system. So the perigee, or the lowest altitude of the Shenzhou spacecraft, is about 200 kilometers, and the highest altitude is.
北京东风报告。
我是北京东风，请讲。
下面请酒泉卫星发射中心书记、发射场区指挥部。
Now we have the person in charge from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center to give us an announcement.
北京明白，各号注意收听。
各位领导
Dear leaders, experts, comrades, according to the flight data of the Kararocky and the report of the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, the Long March 2F Y-21 Kararocket has sent the Shenzhou 21 manned spacecraft to the preset orbit. The aircraft is functioning well. I declare the Shenzhou 21 launch mission a complete success.
All right, we just hear the official announcement by the officials that the Shenzhou 21 mission has been officially declared a success. And now for the very latest, we'll go live to our Zheng Yubing, who is at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. Yibing, so describe to us what is the atmosphere there and walk us through what happens next.
Hello there, Hona, Beijing copy. I'm here at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, and the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center has just announced the full success of the launch mission of the Shenzhou 21 mission. So this is a very good news. And here at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, everybody is so excited, including me and all working staff here. And looking back at the ignition at 23:44, almost close to the midnight Beijing time here Friday, there was a flight of about 10 minutes of the Long March 2 FKR rocket, during which everything went on smoothly. For example, the boosters, the rocket separated at the targeted time. So that's very, if I choose two words to describe the whole experience, I would say the first one would be smooth. The second one would be stunning. Smooth because during the whole process, the three taikonauts are in a very stable and calm status. They're checking the status, and again, we see that. And the second one is stunning because this mission is a first time ever mission, because it's just like you mentioned, the flight time, the fast and rendezvous docking time has been shortened from 6.5 hours to 3.5 hours, according to China Manned Space Agency. We see since late September this year, the Beijing Aerospace Control Center has conducted more than 20 rehearsals for the big change, because the last record we have seen was in 2022 in Tianzhou 5 cargo ship. They have to shorten the faster rendezvous docking time to 2 hours. So this is the first time ever with the manned spacecraft, the Shenzhou 21 spacecraft. So that's the record-breaking time. And also from now in about I should say the exact time, at 3:30 a.m. on Saturday, and the fast and rendezvous docking would be finished, and also at around 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, the spaceship Shenzhou 21 and also the crew members will meet the Shenzhou 20. They will be welcomed in the China Space Station. They will spend there for some time. So that's the latest news from Beijing Aerospace Control Center. Back to you, Hona.
Thank you so much, Yibing, for your updates from the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. All right, let's go back to our studio guest, Professor Yan. Professor, so now we have seen the successful declaration of the mission. So tell us what is happening next. As we know, the key next is the rendezvous process. What will be the key challenges technically?
Well, you know that today, this technology, we've already mastered it and very, very practical. I can still remember that during my first cooperation with CCTV News, or the previous of CGTN, you know that we conducted a 2-day rendezvous and docking of our Shenzhou 8 and Shenzhou 9 spacecraft. So at that moment, we don't have so much experience, and obviously both the ground staff and our crew members are very nervous. So today, our technology becomes more and more practical than before. We already have enough sufficient experience. So today, we can make it shorter and shorter and make the taikonauts more convenient than before. Today, although as you mentioned, of course, until today, for every space-capable nation, the rendezvous and docking is still a very risky operation. But you know that today is very highly automated. So today, the burden of our ground staff has already been reduced to a very remarkable level. So you know that with the very advanced algorithm, the Shenzhou spacecraft can calculate its own position, its own velocity, and then calculate the right operation at which moment it can ignite to which direction and last for how many seconds. So all these can be computed, calculated very precisely, automatically. So the burden, as I mentioned, of the ground staff and our taikonauts has become much less than before. So today, with advanced technology, it also make it possible for us to bring more complex cargoes and samples to our Tiangong space station.
Thank you so much, Professor. We'll be getting back to you. And the Shenzhou 21 crew will have a much faster ride to the space station, this time compared to their predecessor, thanks to the advancing technology. Sun Ye has more.
The Shenzhou 21 cruise trip to the China space station will be much quicker than all previous Shenzhou crews, quicker by hours.
The 3.5-hour rapid rendezvous and docking means the crewed spacecraft can complete its connection with the space station just 3.5 hours after entering orbit. Compared to Shenzhou 20, this is 3 hours shorter. This technology significantly reduces rendezvous and docking time and improves the taikonauts' comfort during the journey. It also reduces energy constraints on the launch window, making the mission more adaptable and enhances our ability to handle major emergencies.
It means an earlier get-together for the Shenzhou 21 and Shenzhou 20 crews. The living supplies, food, equipment, and scientific experiment payloads traveling with the spaceship will also arrive at the space station much faster and fresher.
And as Shenzhou 21 spaceship goes to China's space station, the Shenzhou 22 spaceship stands ready for emergency needs. Sun Ye, CGTN, Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center.
China has successfully launched the Shenzhou 21 spaceship, sending 3 taikonauts on a 6-month mission to the Tiangong space station. The Long March 2F carrier rocket with a crew capsule secure on top lit up the sky as it blasted off from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China. And thank you so much for watching our special coverage. And I'm Hongzhang in Beijing. Thanks for watching, and bye.